Alright, here's the driving range, Cross Timbers. As of April 2025, it is under construction. Alright, we got some putting greens here. Alright, hole one. Alright, blue tee. About 325 yards out. About 250 to the dogleg left turn. All right, here we are at the turn, hole one, about 100 yards out. Looks like you got a bunker on the right, somewhat elevated green on the left, wide open look at the green for your approach. All right, here's a look at hole one green. Nice, big, smooth looking green, 27-yard front to back. Nice big bunker here on the right side. Slopes down to the right side pretty far if you go long right. Not too many high points on this green, looks pretty smooth. Looks like it flows back to front a little bit. And a slope off of the left side and the back side. Pretty deep. All right, here we are at hole two. All right, here we are from the blue tees on hole two, 350 yards roughly to the green. It goes around the corner to the right. Here's your look at the fairway. About 250 yards is your play, 260 if you can angle it up right a little bit until the turn. Leaves you about 90, 80 yards out depending on where you can place it. Looks like lots of room on the left side in those trees straight ahead. Trees get pretty thick on the right and a little pretty thick on the left. All right, here's a little different look from the red tees, about 280 to the green here. You get a wide open look at the fairway this way on hole two. Beautiful fairway today. This course is pretty nice. Tree trouble on the right side there, as you see. Lots of tree trouble straight ahead if you hit it deep. A little bit of single trees here on the left. All right, we're about 100 yards out on here on hole two. You can see the green is going uphill slightly. Big bunker on the front right side. Lots of room around the green. Not too much trouble unless you go really long or really wide right or really wide left. So there's a good look at your approach coming into two. All right, here's a look at the green on two, 26-yard front to back. Big bunker, like I said, here on the right side. Unusual green, long, right to left somewhat, going downhill quite a bit, front to back. Beautiful looking green. All right, here we are at the number 3 hole. All right, here we are at the blue tee box, hole 3, par 5, 544 yards. Here's the look from the tee box. Pretty intimidating, lots of trees on the right and left, right in the middle of your swing here. But it looks pretty wide open out there. All right, here we are on the red tees, hole 3, 365 yards. Straight out to the flag. You can see we're past all that mixture of trees back there at the blue tee box. A lot of open fairway here. Pretty wide open look. You can see the flag straight down the middle where the fairway tightens up. That's your line. All right, here we are at the second shot, 270 yards out in the middle of the fairway. We're looking at large bunker right there in front of the green. You can see the 150 marker to the left of the green. That's pretty much your line straight ahead. Patch of trees on the right and left. Just clusters to deal with. There's your look. All right, here we are on the approach, about 100 yards out on this hole 3, par 5. Long hole. There's your approach shot. Little trouble on the left side. The little hill slants down off the green. Of course, the big bunker right up front. Not too much trouble on the right side. It does look like it runs off the back side. It's elevated up pretty high. So there's your line. All right, here's the green on 3, 28 yards, front to back. Pretty flat, really smooth. Just a little bit of back to front slope, maybe a little high on the left corner backside. Other than that, it's a really clean, smooth looking green. All right, here we are at the 4 tee box, par 4. All right, here we are at the blue tees. Hole 4, par 4, plays about 405 yards. White and red tees are right in line with us, so we'll just do 1 tee box for this hole. You can see the hole straight ahead, and you can see your line. In between those 2 bunkers is your green. A lot of trees on the left side. They're kind of single in clusters, and a few trees on the right side. Again, single clusters, just kind of being a nuisance. You'll be able to find a ball if you go right or left, should be. The left side's a little taller in weeds around the tree trunks. Other than that, it shouldn't be too much trouble. All right, here we are on this hole 4, 140 yards out. It's your approach. We got 2 bunkers on the right and left side on the front side of the green. This green's somewhat elevated as well. A little space around on the back side. Just don't go too long. Looks like it rolls off the back side, right side, and the left side. All right, here we are on the green on hole 4. You saw the bunkers to my right and left side, 27-yard front to back. Again, really smooth, pretty flat. Back to front slope slightly. Levels off flat on the left side and the right a little bit. Other than that, it's pretty simple. All right, here we are, hole 5, about 420 yards, straight ahead. Right over the top of that cart path is your line. It angles right a little bit. Lots of open room on the left side. Bunch of trees, single trees on the right side. So your line is going to be pretty much straight ahead right there. All right, here we are at the red tee box on 5, about 345 yards. It's a little different look than the blue tees. Still similar approach on your tee shot, coming around to the right on for your fairway, but you have a little bit more wide open look, and only about 200 yards or so straight ahead to the trees. If you can take it up over these trees, you're going to be in good shape. But there's your line pretty much if you want to go straight up the fairway. All right, here we are about 165 yards out. The approach on 5, this par 4. Wide open look at the green this way. Little tree, overhanging tree on the left side and the right. Other than that, you should be clear to go right at that flag. All right, here we are on the green on hole 5, 27-yard front to back. Very smooth and flat. Barely comes back to front, just slightly. Other than that, it's a pretty simple layout. All right, here we are at a hole 6, long par 3, 222 from the blues, 209 from the reds. All right, here we are, hole 6, blue tees. Long par 3, tree trouble here on the left. Just kind of in your line in the tee box. Lots of room to work with there in the fairway if you're short. Trees on the right side. Opens up on the left side, just off the green. Let's say here in the red tee box on 6, you got a better view of the green here. Wide open look, slants downhill a little bit. It's a good line here. Right, your target. All right, here we are on the green on this hole 6, par 3. Pretty flat, pretty wide, 28 yards front to back. Slopes off the back left side, and it's high on the left side, and it's coming up high on a little bit on the right, and coming back toward the fairway. All right, here we are, hole 7, par 5. All right, here we are, hole 7. Blue tees, 530 yards out, par 5. There's your line straight ahead. It just curves off to the right. Lots of trees left and right. So your window and your line is right down the middle. All right, here we are, hole 7, about 320 yards out. Here's your line coming in. You see the fairway slopes down left to right. You don't want to go left too much into a ditch, and then there's a lot of trees on the right side if you miss along that way. There's your line straight to the green. And here's a look in on hole 7, the fairway about 90 yards out for your second approach if you decide to lay up. Lots of room to miss left and right around the green. Lots of hills and undulations everywhere. There's your line. All right, here we are at the green on 7, 24-yard front to back. Pretty wide open right to left. Slopes downhill to the fairway. It looks like it slopes right to left, but the ball actually moves left to right over here on this left side. All right, here we are, hole 8, par 4, blue tees, play 316. Okay, Luke, let's stay. All right, here we are, hole 8, par 316 to the flag. Here's fairway look, little tree trouble on the right side and the left. This front left bunker is your line, or just to the left of it. If you can get on around that, you're in good shape. All right, here we are with the approach, about 65 yards to the middle of the green. Lots of trouble down that left side. Looks like the ball can roll off the back left side and the back side. Real high end, elevated green on that side. Right side looks there's a little slope going down to the cart path. No bunkers to deal with, no water around. And there's your wide open look at the green. All right, here we are at the green on hole 8, 25-yard front to back. Looks like it moves a little bit back to front, a little bit right to left. High side on the right side. Pretty smooth overall. All right, here we are, hole 9, par 3. It says 144 from the tee box. Lots of bunkers there on the front right side. Looks like you can go long. There's a little backstop there behind the green. A little runoff on the left side. Wide open hole. All right, here we are on the green on 9, 21-yard front to back. These massive bunkers here on the front right side of this green looking in. This green rolls from right to left down that hill. You got, like I said, you got that backstop to work with if you go long. There's a look. All right, here we are, hole 10, par 4, about 349 from the blues, 246 from the reds. All right, here we are, blue tees, hole 10. There's your out. About 345 on this box from here. Tee box. Straight out over that tree is your line. Fairway opens up, it goes around to the left. All right, here we are, about 140 out. Hole 10 fairway. Good looking at the green. Lots of trees everywhere, right and left. Not many places to miss right and left on this one. There's your line straight ahead. All right, we got a 28-yard green here on 10. Long green, front to back. Moves downhill toward the fairway. Lots of room. All right, here we are, hole 11, par 3, 150 from the blue tees, 125 from the reds. All right, here we are on the blue tees, hole 11, par 3, about 150 yards out. Wide open look here at the fairway and the green. Bunker right up front. Don't want to miss right. It'll slope off into the trees that way. Off the back end, too long, it'll slope down. Room to miss is left front or really short front. All right, here we are on hole 11, par 3, 21-yard green. Pretty right to left, slopes back to front. Lots of trouble on the right going downhill and the backside downhill. Other than that, it's a pretty simple green. All right, here we are, hole 12, par 4, 334 from the blues, 204 reds. All right, here's a look at your hole 12 approach. About 100 yards out. Bunker on the right side of the green. Slopes downhill on the back side and the left side of the green. Here's a good look at your line right here. All right, here we are on the green on 12. Pretty flat, pretty simple green. It does go back to front slightly. Again, you got that right side front bunker. Pay no attention to my birdie putt, but it's right there. Again, 24-yard green front to back. Looks like it moves a little bit right to left, slightly, and definitely back to front. All right, here we are on hole 13, blue tees 368, red tees 323. All the tee boxes have the same look. All right, here we are on the blue tees on 13. All the tee boxes kind of have the same look. 368 to the flag, straight line approach here. Thick trees on the right side up close, and some pretty loose trees on the left. Looks like you can miss left on this one a little bit. Opens up a little bit past those trees on the right side. You get a good shot down the fairway. There's your line, there's your target. All right, here's our approach on 13, about 135 yards out. Here's your look. Wide open fairway. All right, here's the green on 13, 21 yards front to back. Lots of right to left, lots of room. Slopes down on the right side. And it comes down in the center, but it wants to drift a little bit left and then back down toward the fairway. Blue tees on 14, 383, straight line out to the green. A little bit of tree trouble on the front end, right and left side on the front side. You can get over those trees if you can drive it past them. Again, wide open look at the fairway and the green. All right, here we are on 14, about 150 yards out for your approach. Good look at the green, no trouble with pretty much anything except a few hills. Looks like green runs off a little bit on the right side, a little bit on the left side, and if you go long, it runs off the back. But other than that, it's a wide open look. All right, here we are on the green at 14, 31 yards. All right, hole 15, par 5, 497 blues, 414 reds. All right, here's tee box on 15, 487. Par 5, there's your line straight ahead out to the flag. Room to miss on the right side, not a ton of room on the left. These trees right here pretty much set up to take on your drive if you miss left. Out of bounds far left, but straight ahead, pretty much that's your line. All right, here we are on 15 on the approach, middle fairway, about 220 out up to the green. Little trouble on the right side this way. If you go right, trees, weeds on the right side is going to make it tough. Bunker on the left side of that green, protecting that green. If you miss short, miss a little right short, you're good. All right, here we are on the 15th green. Looks like it's tall on the back right side, pretty high point on that side. It rolls right to left and back to front. Pretty smooth all the way across. Slight undulation here on the left side, not too drastic. All right, here we are, hole 16, par 3, blues are 214, red 135. All right, here we are, hole 16, par 3. It's about 198 from this blue tee box here. With slope, you're about 188 straight down. You want to miss to the right a little bit. That hill right there can bring your ball back down to the green. If you miss left, it's going to slant down, giant bunker on the left side. Missing short, you're good, but you can see trees on the right side and trees on the far left make it tough. There's your line and there's your flag. All right, here's a 32-yard green front to back on 16. High point in the middle left side, there's a little spine that runs in the middle. Flattens out at the top, comes back down toward the fairway, back down towards this giant bunker here on the front left side of this green. Again, hole 16 green. All right, here we are on the blue tees, hole 17, dog leg left, pretty short hole, about a 300-yard hole. You want to go about 200, 210-ish straight ahead at your line. You can try to take the trees over these trees, but they're pretty tall if you want to sneak around to that green. But your line, safest play is going to be straight ahead, about 210, 215. All right, here we are in the fairway on 17. Here's a good look in, about 115 out. Good look at the green and the flag. Bunkers on the right side, little few hills on the left side. If you go long, you're going to run down past the green a little bit on the back side. Other than that, straight line, clean look. All right, here we are on the green on 17. 32 yards front to back. You kind of see it slopes back to front, kind of slopes down to the left side a little bit. Your high points are on that farthest back side, big hill coming back down, back toward the fairway. Here's that big bunker on the front right side. And here's a good look at this green as I walk across. All right, hole 18, par 5, 480 from the blues and 435 from the reds. All right, here we are on the blue tee box on 18, 465 yards from this tee box. Your line straight over this cart path. You can see the flag straight ahead. There is danger on the right side with thick trees if you miss too far right. And the ultimate danger, there's a lot of water left. So you want to avoid left. Seems like your line is going to be straight at that cart path, that little tree, to be safe. Looks like it funnels down on the right side a little bit. If you go high, it'll come back down left. All right, here's a look in at 18, 90 yards out. Bunker on the left, bunker on the right. Pretty wide open. Lots of room to miss on the right and left side. It does slope down the right side and the back side. A little bit on the right side there. All right, here we are on the green on 18, 32 yards back to front. You can see the undulation. It's like a center spine right in the middle, all funneling down to this right side and back toward the fairway, almost cascading from the back to the front. This left side, the right side's a little smoother. And again, you've got these bunkers, this green side bunker on the front left and another green side bunker on the front right. And there's a good look at this beautiful green. Hey guys, thanks for watching Cross Timbers Golf Course in Azle, Texas. Very nice course, fun layout. Greens are super nice, super immaculate. This is, again, April in 2025. I don't have any complaints. The fairways were great. Tee boxes were pretty good. Greens were fantastic. They rolled a little bit about a medium to fast speed. It had rained here the night before, and it was pretty damp out today. So they weren't as fast as they could be, but they still rolled true, pretty smooth. All the greens were in great shape. It was a very fun course, fun layout, a little challenging from all the trees you saw, but overall, thumbs up. Very nice course here in Azle, Texas. Come out and check it out. Again, like, subscribe, and share this channel with anybody you know that could benefit from coming out before they come out to watch it so they can play it. We did the blue tees today, mostly a few red tees. A lot of them are the same look, and I was a little backed up, so I didn't have a lot of extra time to get all the tee boxes in, but for the most part, most of the tee boxes come from the straight look all across the board for all four. And it's also one way to shorten the video time so it's not so long to watch, just getting in the blue tees, and I mentioned a lot of the red tees as you saw, but that's it. Y'all come out and check it out. It's a nice place. Thanks a lot.